4v3.
Everyone from esports trying to angle they can, trying to find somebody out of position.
We'll go through on this. Oh, what a roll. See what's going to go in.
It's going to be a really, really interesting one.
Oh my god. All of this competition could be so damn close. So I cannot wait for us to decide who's going to be the champion. We are expecting some chaos, some great moments.
Beast Mode has killed 3. Only going to really need that rampage. So to clear it out, so he's going to give themselves a big ol' 4K. Oh. He's getting rid of 3, clearing out the house.
That is crazy.
Nunch actually kills 3 people.
This team feels entirely different on this faster composition. Now before he's hanging around, getting onto the high ground. Post bomb's going to stick on the leak. He's not going to be able to survive it at the end of the day. That is going to 3K.
Rio shoving this Lana in a corner. Woo! One more for the hook for Rio. That is all signs go. Melophobia with 3. Melophobia starting the fight. They'll end the fight. Oh my god. Bus, they have to play aggressively into this energy, popping off in a moment where you needed just that. Ruby in that backline. Oh, the flick. Looking for it. Oh my goodness. The 4th one as well. Do they get the 8? They get the 8. Hello everyone, welcome back to the Console Gaming League. I am Joker's Ransom, that is Megalas, and we are here for some playoffs, round 2 action in the losers bracket, T4 Demons versus Smelvin Industries.
Yeah, definitely a position neither of these teams really want to be in. Loser bracket, of course, with the elimination on the line and things like that. So they'll have to be battling it out here to try to stay in it, give it their best foot forward here. But the beauty of CGL is that the games keep on rolling and everything's happening here. If we get a look at our schedule, we'll see that there are a bunch of matches happening here. At least for EU, we got this currently happening. Over on the mainstream, we have Resurrect and Goon Squad going up against it. So this will be amazing. Probably some NA matches later as well. So stuff you don't want to miss out on.
Those are some of the names of all time in CGL there. Not the worst one that we've ever had, though. Not the worst one. That was Embaticum. We'll move on from that now. As we take a look, like I said earlier, we're in losers round 2, so we can take a look at how we got here, take a look at that bracket stage, to see, you know, where these two teams line up, where they're trying to get to go. As right now, obviously, we look at losers round 2, T4 Demons versus Smelvin Industries, looking to win and move forward to WBZ Dream Eaters, and it's in kind of a big one for T4 Demons, right? They want to have that opportunity for a for revenge against them, as they did get 3-0'd earlier on in winners round 1. But I mean, look at that, right? The top teams are all in the bottom here, right? Smelvin and WBZ might be matching up in losers round 3. A lot of people were probably thinking, you know, that's a winners finals type matchup, or even a grand finals type matchup, and that's happening in losers round 3 if Smelvin do take this victory.
Exactly. And again, it's just a spot that not a lot of people expected them to be in here. Smelvin sort of getting to be the old guard here. It feels like just yesterday when they joined, but now sort of the ancient relic compared to all these new teams on the up and up here. But looking at this series specifically, it's just going to be interesting to see exactly how it ends up shaking out. Because, again, you know, you have this Smelvin Industry squad who's been around for a while, and then all this sort of new blood and things like that with T4 Demons, who definitely want to try to make that lower bracket run, right? It's always fun to see a team sort of go all the way across here. And like you were saying, Joker, that beautiful setup for WBZ to have a revenge match potentially could be massive.
And great thing for Smelvin, right, is they have the Greg's buff as Big Nan, their tank player, works at Greg's. That's huge. That's huge in the UK scene, right? The sausage roll, one of the best things ever, apparently, according to United Kingdom people. So, will that give them the buff here today is the real question, or You know, are they going to be going down and just, you know, losing?
I mean, listen, sometimes, you know, you gotta bring out the big man buff here, indeed, here, that can be the difference maker for these matchups and things like that. But it is, again, just interesting to see how this can all potentially shake out here with these squads. Again, just sort of wanting to give it any and everything here. Just to peek back behind the curtain, despite us being 9 minutes past when the series was supposed to start, apparently somebody hasn't picked a map yet. So me and Joker are just waffling. I'm just going to be fully transparent.
Yep.
So, you know, Joker, you haven't cast a CGL at all this season. You know, you're clearly on the up and up. Give me some detailed analysis about these teams.
Some detailed analysis on these teams. Pokeoni is, according to them, the person that has won the most CGLs in console history. So that's something to look at, right? Robbie Hash is an MRC champion, which is kind of cool, right? And then Jacko, another CGL champion there. They snaked Oblivion back in the day to go to MME and win CGL, right? And then apparently Adam has never played May before they met them. So that's, I mean, good on them. Never falling for the Ice Demon.
You know, it's interesting. It's interesting that you bring this up because I was like, how do you actually know this stuff? And it's just what they put in on their team sheet. So that's lovely. But luckily the waffling can end, at least for the time being here. Honestly, kind of crazy that we waited this long for them to pick Lijiang Tower. It's almost like a fork found in kitchen moment. Like, we definitely could have just said they picked Lijiang and probably been right 99% of the time. Because it's Lijiang Tower, Joker. You know, these teams, like, everybody loves Lijiang. You're going to play your standard stuff here. Everything's going to go according to plan, and whichever team is better, realistically, is just going to come out on top. It's always the way that Lijiang has gone.
Yeah, I'm definitely interested to see. Obviously, we saw some looks in OWCS finals, right? With EU, EMEA looking for more of a Symmetra-based compositions, right? So maybe we see that today, especially since, you know, Lijiang Tower has always kind of been sort of synonymous with Symmetra-based comp, especially in those first a couple of those rounds on Gardens and Night, all of them actually, really, Night Market specifically.
Exactly, and Symmetra sort of being the big thing, right? The EU region is certainly going to, you know, be loving that one for a little while now, especially if you look at OWCS, currently EU sitting on top right now thanks to these sim compositions catching a lot of people off guard here, so would not be surprised to see these two squads try to replicate that to some level of success here. That is, of course, unless there is a ban on the Symmetra. But at the end of the day, it is just going to be one of those things where bans can always impact the maps, right? You have these squads, you know, maybe not wanting to deal with certain characters, wanting to get them out of the way and things like that as everybody's going through here. So the sim ban completely likely. You could also go for some of the tank bans, not wanting to deal with specific variants of Brawl. We've seen the odd Lucio ban also occur on Lijiang, but honestly, it just kind of makes Lijiang awkward where everybody's playing Juno and it just doesn't feel right, doesn't operate the same way.
Yeah, so it looks like we're getting Smelvin a ban first here, and well, we already know what the ban is because our observers didn't spoiler it for us. So we're just waiting down before I can really talk about it because I don't really want to beat around the bush because I know what it is, but I'm not going to say it until the timer goes off here, Mega, as you know, that's just bad. That's just bad casting if I say it before the timer goes off.
Yeah, I mean, it certainly can be seen that way, absolutely, here. But it is going to be one of those things of, again, just waiting for it to tick down here. And finally, it will be officially revealed, like we already know in the back of our heads, that Malga is going to be the Smelvin ban here. You just don't want to deal with our favorite Samoan. Too many guns, just too many for Robbie Hash and co to deal with here. So that's absolutely understandable. Now T4 on the other side get a chance to sort of reciprocate, because again, if you're banning out the Malga, you're probably expecting some sort of ram comp. And if you don't want to play the ram comp yourselves, you have to find the best way to debilitate it. So we'll have to see what T4 intend to shoot out here.
Yeah, and I think you called it earlier. We'll confirm it in 15 seconds that you were right. But it is going to make this map kind of definitely an interesting type of way. And what I was saying earlier with the Symmetra being prevalent might be the case, because T4 Demons are in fact banning out the Lucio. There it is.
Yeah, just like I said, it makes the map incredibly awkward, because if you want to play any sort of speed, it now is completely dependent on the Juno, and there's a lot that changes when you have a Juno versus a Lucio, right? Defensive ult of the sound barrier versus the offensive utility that comes with the orbital ray being the big factor here. You obviously get a lot more healing with the Juno as well here, with the pulsar torpedoes and things like that, versus Lucio, who can be a bit more of a free agent, sort of moving with the flankers and things like that. So losing that option can be a bit devastating here if your comp relied on, say, a Tracer or Genji constantly be a thorn in the opponent's side and being on the flanks and things of that nature here. So I'm interested to see how this map plays out now that our favorite frog is not in the mix.
Yeah, like I was saying, like you were saying, Juno probably going to be prevalent here, as well as maybe that Symmetra as well, just to get that positioning a little bit easier, a little bit better. But other than that, we're just going to have to wait and see and get into the game here. As unfortunate, the graphic kind of broke.
Yeah. The missing player in question is Goth Doll, and potentially based on the spelling of the name, I can see why it broke. So I would not be surprised if it's like, yep, there it is. This is T4's starters for the most part here. They do have, this is pretty much just their starter. They do have a sub in on tank. Oh no, they just have Mogul listed twice for some reason. Okay, never mind. I'm crazy. But also for Smelvin, these are some of the names you expect with Big Nan and Seb and Jacko obviously taking stage here, but none of some of the key players that you would expect. None of your Robbie Hashes, your Moris, or anything like that. So interested to see who's going to be playing what in this lineup.
Yeah, definitely an interesting look for them, and maybe they just don't feel like they need their top of the line players today to take down Tier 4 Demons, and we'll see if that overconfidence, if it is overconfidence or just confidence in general, with their lineup tonight.
Overconfidence indeed could be the name of the game here, but as we're getting into map, we're starting out on, I believe, the Gardens stage here, so going to be interested to see exactly what the plan is. Like we said, there's no Malga, no Lucio, so if you're going to see speed, it's going to be Juno here, and that's why you're seeing currently on the side of Smelvin, the Juno combined with the Wuyong here, Big Man over onto the Junker Queen. This is going to be a lot of front-facing damage, but it's damage that has to close the distance for the most part here. Meanwhile, T4 Demons not going to opt into any speed here. Instead, just going to take the teleport out of spawn and be a lot more durable with the break-back backline to make sure Signal on this Orisa stays alive long in these fights.
Yeah, Smelvin opting for the Wu Yang now as well. See how that works for him. But already, Tier 4 Demons are getting some good positioning here, not allowing the turrets to set up, not allowing things not allowing Smelvin to get the value that they were hoping for quite just yet. The big man on the JQ looking to get something started here with that jagged blade, but not going to find anything quite just yet. Only going to find Signal for the moment. Now Signal pushing forward, going for gold, but is it going to be enough? No, they're going to get super low here. Mongol is going to go wrap around. There's the immortality field, the lamps on the field. Jacko trying to keep everyone up and healthy here for Smelvin at the moment. No one's really gotten in control quite yet, but if Gothdoll goes down here, that would be huge for Smelvin. So they're looking to open it up, looking for that pick. They're still got people low. Gothdoll on the side, still going to fall as Larvin is going to find that pick, but the trade back there's the bring down for the count. Is it still going to be enough? There's still a chance for both of these two sides, but Big Man with a slash with the axe takes down Peckman, and that should wrap it up. Smelvin taking this first fight.
Okay, yeah, we got it.
Yeah, being able to sort of take the cleanup here is going to be incredibly important. But now we are trying to see how Smelvin, is going to hold this, right? They do have some tools to work with and things of that nature, like the Rampage, as well as the mirrored amp matrix that T4 is going to have here. But we will have to sort of see exactly what T4 plans to do, because their comp, while very sustainable, is going to be difficult to approach with.
It really is. It really is. I mean, obviously you have ultimates to engage with, as that is going to still see how it's going to work. Larvin is going to come through already, and now they've taken it down. They're going to look for some more. A lot of people are very low, as Jacko is going to drop Amp Matrix, but they do go down. Gothdoll in response falls, but it's still not looking to be enough. But hey, Big Man still on the floor, finding 2 kills, as Smelvin Industries are going to keep things going. Will wrapping it up with Peckman and Larvin falling down.
Yeah, falling down indeed here, as we just get a quick look at the menu, I guess. Why not? But it actually, in the meantime, though, it seems like Signal is starting to finally turn this around and get it. So that way the official flip can come through here, trying to look for a little bit more on the fray and things like that. But Smelvin, luckily, didn't invest too much. I mean, in comparison, they kind of threw a little too much into it. With both the Rampage and Window not netting anything in the situation. T4 now get to be in that stable positioning that they were looking for and things like that, with both support ultimates to boot, so they really are looking to be in a solid place for a while.
Yeah, like you said, like you mentioned, that those double support ultimates, that rally, that amp matrix is so good for this composition, right? You're going to have to walk into a boatload of damage and a boatload of sustain for tier 4 demons, and that's why Pokey's gone over to the Bastion here as a nice shot cuts through. Gothdoll now down. They do get caught out. Will is going to fall in response, but all ultimates coming out online. Everyone looking to find a kill that still looks good for tier 4 demons, as they've got the picks. They've gotten Big Man down, and well, it should keep it going their way, as they're going to overtake Smelvin Industries now, as there's the last ult coming in from Signal to try to clean house.
Yeah, and there was a lot of investment from T4, but they are able to secure the fight, like you said, and they've now passed where Smelvin was at in terms of point percentage. Now, Smelvin back on the approach once again here. They're probably going to be looking towards Big Man to try to build up another Rampage here. We know how impactful that ultimate can be if it actually connects. Obviously, it's easier said than done into an Orisa who has a lot of cooldowns to sort of prevent you from going forward with that ult.
Oh, good Rampage coming in there. Again, purple up 4, and there's Big Man capitalizing on it in the end. 3 kills coming in, and now more falling. Smelvin Industries with the team kill, taking back the point.
Yeah, finding themselves in that one fight situation, though, where now Smelvin, they can't give up the point even for a moment. Over 93%, it would require pretty much stagger touches to come out. And realistically, their comp doesn't have anybody who's going to get to the point incredibly quickly here. So T4 now making the same rotation through White Room here, probably going to try to build up towards this overclock and use that as their engage tool, but post and try to catch them in the rotation.
Yeah, and then back the line there with the artillery strikes. Only going to find Gothdoll with the, oh goodness gracious, Big Man all alone. Is going to be able to stay alive, though, thanks to that immortality field from Jacko. Now Amp Matrix in response going to try to keep things going up to 89% here. Last fight territory for both sides, and Mongol is down. Signal's making the swap over to the Wrecking Ball, trying to get back as quickly as they can, but is it going to be enough? Pac-Man falling. They are going to get the touch here. Pokey is down, but I don't know if it's going to be enough. Overtime going to come through, and now you're just rolling for the win, but Signal is down for the count, and I don't think anyone else is going to be touching as Smelvin take map or round number 1.
Yeah, back and forth affair here, but Smelvin ultimately able to clutch it up. T4, again, they overinvested in that one single fight, and you're seeing it more and more where teams, they will do that in one fight, and then it completely shafts their ult economy for the rest of the round, and it sort of puts them in this deficit that they can't really come back from, right? You saw it towards that final fight situation where they pushed in. Smelvin already had the Bastion ult being dropped on their heads, and they were desperately trying to get Gothdoll built up to an overclock. But besides that, they had no tools to work with on their engage here. Just beautiful play so far from the side of Smelvin, clearly knowing the ins and outs of what they want to do here. T4 going to be sticking with their same composition here, but they're actually going to keep the Symmetra outside of the spawn room, most likely teleporting into point, that way giving their comp some level of mobility.
Yeah, Larvin already making that play, but Gothdoll, everyone falling down. That is not the bastion of defense you were hoping for. Everyone falling down. The dive comes through from Smelvin and takes them down.
Yeah, and it's interesting because Smelvin just have this odd amount of long-range damage, considering that they're a rush comp that wants to close the distance, especially with the Junker Queen and Genji. I mean, you have both a Wu Yang as well as the Sojourn being able to shoot at a distance here, especially Seb with those water orbs being able to take people out, but Seb already missing.
Yeah, 2 people going fall early down as T4 Demons are going to easily just walk right back to the point. Big Nan falls to the Javelin. And, well, that is an easiest fight as you would have hoped for if you're Tier 4 Demons.
Yeah, honestly, I don't even know what happened. I think maybe people got jumped by a teleporter. They didn't expect T4 to sort of be behind them, which, I mean, fair enough, but you can't let that happen to you consistently here. Poke now going over to the Junkrat. Interesting swap. You want to try to break through some of the durability, the sustainability this composition has, so okay, well, it was short-lived here, so we're back over to the Sim.
Yeah, as there's the Terra Surge coming in. Signal's all alone, though. Gonna have to force Immortality Field to stay alive. Both teams, though, drop the Immortality Field. Point is gonna be pressured out by Smelvin, and, well, they're gonna take it quite easily now, as they're gonna come back in more, Amp Matrix in on the point here, as Smelvin looking to find Signal, but still alive for the moment and still waiting to find some more picks. A nice Jagged Blade into the point, though. Signal still alive, still well, getting the healing they need. A Photon Barrier now coming in from Larvin, trying to capitalize on this. The Big Nan takes down Mongo with the Jagged Blade yet again. They're still holding out. Pokey is all up and ready to go with the full charge on the Symmetra beam, and that's going to keep everything going in Smelvin's favor.
Yeah, and I mean, again, T4's composition is built to be sustainable, but in these situations where they have to push, you can see just how fallible it is. They do have a bank of ultimates they've built up with both the Kitsune Rush and the Amp Matrix to boot here, but they do have to find an opportunity to actually use these without getting hindered in their spawn.
They're coming in. There's another great look, but a nice Suzu comes in from Mongol, but it might not be enough to stabilize and keep it going. Terra Surge comes through, and they shut down Big Nan in the moment. Larvin has made that swap over to the Cassidy as well, and now Signal is pushing forward. They've got the opportunity to keep it going, but now from the back, Larvin looking for picks, and they find it too, and that should allow Tier 4 Demons to take back the point. 97% and counting. Got to be perfect from here on out.
Yeah, but they've set themselves up in a position to be perfect, right? Smelvin Industries now the ones who over-invested into that final fight, not coming away with the win there. In T4, they have the Amp Matrix, they have this overclock, they're going to be building up to a Deadeye soon as well. As long as they don't overcommit everything to a single fight here, they realistically have the advantage to just sort of stall this out and bait Smelvin to walk forward into certain demise.
We'll have to see here, right? Mongol already taking out the Immortality Field, but will again with these shots taking down Larvin early on is huge. Gothal's in response, use their overclock as well. Still, the point is flipped back into Smelvin's favor, and you have to stay on the point, but it's just a microwave of damage with these sentry turrets on board. Are they going to be able to stabilize? No, Pokey on the side takes down Signal, and it might just be all over here. Pokey is just lighting up the kill feed with this Symmetra. I told you it would be big for these teams, and big it was. Smelvin Industries take map number 1.
It's a little bit baffling for the side of T4 Demons there, because their composition thrives in being on point, as well as it benefits them to be on point for exactly what Smelvin did, which is the teleporter, the classic teleporter play, right? You don't have to deal with the poke if you're just teleporting directly into the objective here. So I'm just interested to see why they weren't holding on point, because you saw how difficult it made for that attempted retake at the very end there, right? I mean, Smelvin just got to sort of sit on point and wait for T4 to even attempt to approach before burning down key figures like the Orisa and stuff like that, and then just being able to take the map from there. I mean, Smelvin clearly willing to adapt, swap when needed, and they know their game plan here, whereas T4 maybe a little bit lackluster in their first map.
And obviously they're showing why, right? They were one of the top teams in the EU open tier, right? They're showing why they shouldn't really have been knocked down that early to this loser's bracket. But, I mean, they're here now, and they've got to keep going, keep winning to stay alive, right? Or well, it's over. You win or go home.
Exactly, win or go home situation. The upside for T4 though is that now with a map loss, they get to be the ones to decide where we're heading next for both map and mode here, and it sort of will be very telling, right? Because obviously we saw Lijiang break down past the standard brawl compositions, right? Both sides you really can't admit to being a brawl comp. That was more of a I guess like a pseudo poke really for both squads here, wanting to sort of stay at a range but also be as bulky as you can in terms of just survival on the objective here. So as we push on to a new map type, it'd be interesting to see if T4 tries to lean into maybe a more divey style. Maybe they want to play something where they can force a more standard brawl. Clearly banning out the Lucio map one, was not the play for them, but who knows, maybe they've got something else in the back pocket.
Yeah, it'll be really interesting to see. Obviously, any map type can still be chosen at this moment. But I'm interested to see what the decision making will be. Especially since, like you said, we really haven't seen a real definitive upper hand. I mean, obviously, besides the fact that Smelvin won, but I think it was more shot calling and play style, and it wasn't just comp differential that won Smelvin that first map. So I'm interested to see where they decide to take us, or sorry, where Tier 4 Demons decide to take us here. And looks like we're gonna get that as it's going to be Atlas.
Yeah, and Atlas, again, regardless of what Flashpoint map you pick, this is more brawl for the most part here, so I'm very interested to see why T4 Demons is going to be opting into this. I mean, potentially could come down to maybe being able to play on the Malga now that it's not going to be able to be banned out by Smelvin here. But realistically, beyond that, if that's not your motivation and things like that, I'm again just very curious to see exactly what the idea is, because regardless of what Flashpoint map you're going to go to, it's going to be more of that brawl where tempo is going to be the name of the game here, and Smelvin certainly was the one setting the tempo, being the initiators, the aggressors across Lijiang here. So T4, it doesn't really matter what heroes you pick, you have to be able to up the pace of the game here if you want to try to keep up with a team like Smelvin.
Yeah, and like you're saying, brawl, going to be the name of the game here on Atlas. So, and I mean, obviously now, Tier 4 Demons can't ban Lucio again, so, I would expect to be seeing Lucio again, unless for some reason Smelvin decides to, ban it as well. But I'm really interested to see what the ban phase will look like here. Do we get a ban on Ramattra or something along the lines of that, or is it going to be a DPS hero?
Yeah, it could potentially be in the DPS range and things like that because, you know, there were a few thorns in the side, potentially not wanting to deal with the Symmetra as we highlighted there, but also, you know, maybe not wanting to deal with even if you're trying to go as far back to think like maybe the Sojourn 1v1s were heading your way, maybe the range just wasn't playing into a Sojourn's most optimal situation. That could be a thing as well here. But that's the thing, Smelvin kind of showed a lot of flexibility across just that first map there, so it definitely can make things a little bit more difficult in terms of who you want to ban, because you can't necessarily target ban something out. This sort of just has to be a gut feeling of what you expect Smelvin to play and just not wanting to play against it rather than being able to just know, hey, they played this and we hate it. But it's going to be the Torbjorn ban here. This indicates they might try to force some sort of bulks composition.
Yeah, I definitely wasn't expecting that when I mentioned DPS, but hey, we're here now. It did give him a little bit of grief earlier, but hey, I mean, I wouldn't have expected it. But I mean, if you wanted to play Tracer, if you're tier 4 demons, right, it gives you that option to not be poked out by the turret. So that's gonna be that for you, and then we'll see what Smelvin will be banning here in a short moment, and it looks like it's going to be the Hazard.
Yeah, I mean, not wanting to deal with Hazard, but again, this is something that you didn't necessarily see it played here, so maybe it's again another sort of soul read situation going on where they're just not expecting to play they just don't want to play against the Hazard for what Smelvin has cooked up here, which could be more Junker Queen style here, or again, it's just going to be very, very interesting to see what these teams actually end up running out on, because if it ends up being that ball composition like I'm thinking for the side of T4, where they're sort of committing to a dive, executing away from the objective and then coming back to it as an afterthought here, it can be interesting, and Smelvin sort of as retaliation can just sort of hunker down on the objective with some of these other brawlier characters. So again, interesting bans. The thought process here is certainly something. As we do also have some substitutions here. Setlix is going to come in and Signal's going to move over to the support role. Or, yeah, Signal is going to move over to the support role rather. So yeah. I'm interested to see what this sort of dynamic shift up could mean.
So I'm obviously looking at the team sheet, right? Signal's most played hero and favorite hero is that Lucio, and that's what we are seeing from them now. As GG is going to come out with a Zarya here. Definitely a good look to try to counter out the Junker Queen as well. So we'll see how that works for them, as Selix already up to 50%, already up even higher charge at the moment. And it's going to be really easy to keep high charge with Pogioni on the Junkrat as well, as Flashpoint is now unlocked and being attacked, contested up, but who is going to come out on top with it already is Larvin. Very low, but on the Tracer you can get away and get the healing that you needed, but you're on to 5 HP and Seb takes him down. Now that's a perfect opportunity for Smelvin to capitalize upon and take the first point, but Selix is going to take out Jacko in response, so there's still definitely an opportunity for either of these two squads, but now with Peckman falling, this should be Smelvin's point to take.
Yeah, and it's sort of a double-edged sword with Selix on the Zarya, right? Like, you talked about, the Junkrat's going to be handing energy to that Zarya hand over fist, but when you're burning those bubbles just to gain energy and not gain positioning, it sort of becomes a bit of a problem here. That's why you see now that rotation has occurred, they've already found one on to poke, and now they can force the objective, now that they've been able to sort of force Smelvin back.
Ooh, a nice Graviton Surge as well, taking Big Nan down. As Jacko falls quickly after its point has already flipped back over, and it's going to be staying in the favor of Tier 4 Demons there.
Yeah, and now with T4 in control here, already having used that Graviton, which, by the way, fastest building ultimate in the entire lobby, built faster than a Pulse Bomb. So Selix clearly putting in the work there. Now T4 just gets to hold this defensive positioning here, because again, Smelvin lacking speed on their composition makes them a little bit slow and a little bit predictable on these rotations.
You'll see here, I mean, obviously you have Amp Matrix to go on if you need to, but Jacko's already forced Immortality Field down, as they're gonna might be caught out early here, as they do indeed. Larvin finds it, now Gothbell as well, finding Will here too. So still looking really good. Pokey is going to find another pick, so it's still definitely an opportunity to keep going here for Smelvin Industries, but they don't really have anything much more in their way as Pokey is felled out. Are they going to be able to stabilize? I don't think they are. I think they might have to give it up, but now with Big Nan finding Gothbell, you're going to be able to push the point as you are Smelvin Industries. Now they're going to try to push it back to take down Larvin Allen. Then as they've got another opportunity, Kitsune Rush coming through, point flips back over to Smelvin Industries at 99% for T4 Demons, as they're going to look to hold on to this as Celix is going to fall.
Yeah, you certainly were looking to try to like win that out, like you said, with the investment of the Kitsune Rush there. But you did it almost blind, right? You just sort of came around the corner and chucked it out, hoping it would work out in your favor. The lucky thing for T4 here is that they have quite literally every other ultimate besides that Kitsune now built up heading into this next fight. As long as they don't get caught off guard by a Rampage or this random Bastion ult, they should be good to approach.
Yeah, that's a huge ult coming in there. Celix just locks them all down. Big Dan finds Gothbell, but that's all the only pick that they're gonna find in that fight, as flashpoint number 1 goes to T4 Demons.
Yeah, and so with Station out of the way here, we are heading over to the Bazaar now to try to see again what sort of plans both these squads have. T4, if they're able to get here first, like they kind of have, but they're already being met by Big Nan.
Yeah, as Big Nan is already found 2, make it 3 for Smelvin. That is going to be the team kill coming through, and that should be the point unlocked for Smelvin.
And that's the second time this map that T4 trying to play a little bit faster than they maybe should, and they've been punished for it, right? They're constantly trying to sort of be the super fast-paced team, and Smelvin just sort of outpacing them or punishing this over-aggression time and again here. So potentially T4 just needs to take a moment sometimes, breathe, make sure their team is stabilized before engaging in some of these fights here. But T4 now on the attack with this overclock.
The outcome in here, there's a nice Rampage in, no real way to turn it back, but Big Nan's falling down. The overclock to the face takes him down. Now the sound barrier came through, but it didn't really find the value you're hoping for. It gives you a little bit of sustain, but you're not able to, well, I mean, you are able to take the point back. Now you have to rotate through, but I think you'll like to have it for this next fight. It didn't really turn the tide.
Yeah. But speaking of the tide here, you do have the Tidal Blast online for Seb here, who can realistically throw that on anybody who wants to get aggressive. But with Big Man going over to the Zarya, nobody's really going to be fast enough to be able to get in there with it. We'll have to see what the value is.
Celix is going to fall down. You do lose Will, though, so that's not what you wanted to see. Is Larvin looking for the assassination from the back, but they're going to have to recall back into the fight. Still, they go looking for a kill. Almost get taken down there by some shots into that area. Now point is being pressured out by Big Nan onto the point. They go. Larvin trying to stabilize. Now as the Kitsune Rush comes in from Pac-Man back onto the point. Goes Tier 4 Demons. The point is about to get flipped back overs. Now Big Nan is the only one caught by that Graviton Surge, and it's not really looking like it's going to matter here unless something drastically changes. Celix is supercharged at the moment, though, so they can still turn this fight around into their favor as they still hold it on. Seb is felled out now as Celix trying to flip it back into their way. They do not. They get off the point for a second. Now it's back in their way, and now they have the opportunity to keep it going. Will falls.
Yeah, and it seems as though Smelvin now the ones playing a little too fast. They realize that they're going to be outpaced and nobody's going to be able to make it onto the point here. So now T4 finds themselves 1 point away from being able to take Atlas here. And I'm just interested to see, again, sort of how the tempo keeps shifting between these two squads. T4 having these moments of weakness, but it seems like ever since the Smelvin swapped over to the Zarya, they've been able to keep tempo and just sort of outpace Smelvin and what they want to do.
Yes, I mean, already, especially with Gothbell already having the overclock available, Smelvin do have ultimates to be in response. Will could it turn the tide of this fight with a big pulse bomb, but Signal's already down. Big Nan though getting caught out, but still Will doing some work here. Pulse bomb available for this fight too, as there's the artillery blast coming in, but it's not going to find the picks you were hoping for, or at least it buys you some space, buys you some time to rotate on the point here. If you are Smelvin Industries, pulse bomb now in, not going to find the connection that you were hoping for. Now still anyone's point at the moment, but now it goes to tier 4 demons. They are on map point.
Yeah, and I mean, Smelvin just sort of forced to regroup here, but they're still actually engaging and they're caught in the grab.
Ooh, great grab coming in there from tier 4 demons. Selix finds 2 with it, and that is going to get us up to 25%.
Yeah, and now potentially trying to chase staggers out. I mean, resetting Big Nan's energy, absolutely massive here. And I mean, so far, nothing is going right for Smelvin. T4, meanwhile, on the Zarya comp, piloting it to absolute perfection right now, giving Selex all of the energy and care in the world to be able to do as they please here. Now, heading into the next fight, you have both the support ultimates for T4 Demon, one defensive, one offensive, versus Smelvin making hero swaps once again, trying to figure out a recipe, but I mean, they're already running out of time, Joker.
Ryan coming out here with Will on to the Reaper. Is it going to be enough? I certainly do not know, but I'm certainly excited to see, as there's the Amp Matrix coming in, as well as the Immortality Field. As you do find Gothal, but the trade is there. Jacko now down. Point flips back over. 98% for tier 4 demons, though. Is it going to be enough? You've already lost your major source of healing on the point. As Selix has found Seb. No more supports on the board for Smelvin Industries. You've still got to try to stabilize here. Overtime now being procced up, and I think it's all but over here as Big Nan falls. Will quickly after them. Overtime ticks away, and it is all tied up. Tier 4 demons with a sweep on Flashpoint.
And what a complete flip from Li Zhang, right? I mean, T4, who clearly were being outpaced, to being the ones to set the tempo here. Selex on this Zarya, absolutely a menace. And it kind of left Smelvin scrambling, right? They clearly did not have an answer. They kept trying to make swaps. Don't get me wrong, adaptation is good, but when you're just swapping heroes every 30 seconds, you're just always going to be behind in the ult economy. You're not going to be able to put something together in terms of a plan here. So Smelvin, you know, a little bit struggling, a little bit, you know, maybe scatterbrained right there. A deer in headlight situation for them that they weren't necessarily expecting on Atlas.
Yeah, definitely weren't expecting it at all. Hopefully, with this short little break that we are about to take, Smelvin can reset their mentals and head into map number 3 with a different outlook on this series, as we're all tied up heading into this 5-minute break.
Let's have a bit of fun till I downfall. My love, if you feel like I do right now, don't say you're on the run to the other side, my love. You say you wanna try, but you never do. Sugar, there's a reason why we lose. You say you wanna cry, but you never do. Sugar, there's a reason why we lose. I don't know what you want. Let's have a bit of fun till I downfall. My love, if you feel like I do right now, don't say you're on the run to the other side, my love. You say you wanna try, but you never do. Sugar, there's a reason why we lose. You say you wanna try, but you never do.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Console Gaming League. We are headed into map 3 in a few short moments here. I'm still Joker. That's still Megalass, and we've got a banger on our hands. All tied 1-1 going into that map number 3, like I was saying. And we already have our map selection here, so we don't have to do too much yapping about it. As we're headed into Escort, we're headed into Circuit Royale.
Yeah, and I think this makes complete sense for Smelvin, right? They clearly maybe aren't ready to face the Zarya or face the standard Brawl at full capacity here, not favoring those speed characters in the slightest here. So send it back to something you can play a little bit more pokey, a little bit more distance here, and just sort of poke your enemies out at range. And Circuit Royale is the epitome of that, right? It's one of the few maps in the game that poke still reigns supreme here, so absolutely great to see. For T4, it'll be interesting to see how they choose to adapt to this one, if they choose to keep running the Zarya anyway, and potentially just try to up the tempo with that speed boost, or potentially even bringing a Symmetra back into the mix, just sort of teleport themselves around. But overall, for what we saw from Smelvin so far, this makes complete sense.
Yeah, I definitely have to agree with you. As we'll see now, especially with the bans that it looks like we're getting for these two teams. Definitely an interesting look from one of them, from Smelvin here, when we get to it in a second. Because I don't think it really has a place on a circuit. Obviously, we've moved away from when it first became into existence, when it was just Sigma Double Sniper, but still Poke does tend to work a lot better here. So I'm interested to what you think if this ban that we're going to be seeing is a wasted ban, or they just don't want to play it against it either way.
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly interesting because it feels like the map already sort of banned out the character in question here. Once it pops up on screen, we can just say it. Yeah, it's Zarya. It feels like the map naturally banned out Zarya already, so potentially, you know, one of those things of you could have kept this in the back pocket for a different map. That being said, though, it also could be one of the things of you were trying to make sort of a protect ban, if you will, where you wanted to be able to make sure that somebody wasn't banning out, say, Sigma or Ramadra or something you wanted to play. So, I mean, I guess that could sort of be your angle with it. Meanwhile, though, again, you know, just something that you maybe want to be able to keep for a future map, because, again, the long distances of Circuit Royale already sort of neuter the Zarya pretty effectively to the point where you wouldn't have wanted to play it. So definitely something that they could have kept in the back pocket.
Yeah, right. Especially since next map would have been hybrid or push, but it looks like the Baptiste is going to get banned for Tier 4 demons. But like I was saying, with push and hybrid being the only two maps left for your next one, I personally would have probably saved that Zarya ban for one of those two maps, just because it is definitely a lot easier to run a Zarya on that. But Smelvin obviously do not want to go down 2-1 right now, so they're gonna either keep that ban and just no sense of you risking it, them playing against it.
Yeah, and it's just interesting. It's interesting to see here with the Baptiste ban as well, trying to take out some of that bulky healing that we talk about that generally goes alongside poke compositions here. So we'll have to see what sort of swap up this causes as well. T4 on the defense, walking out on very interesting style of comp, especially for that backline. The Wu Yang Kiri, not something we always see. But again, the Wu Yang is just something that we're seeing more and more involved in these poke compositions, because it's somebody who can deal damage from these super long ranges. You know, every time one of those water orbs hits somebody, that's 100 damage flat out. Congrats, you've just lost 100 HP before you even realize what has happened here. So something you have to respect. Meanwhile, Smelvin in their spawn room still technically, but a much more standard poke here, with the Ana and the Zen obviously being a key factor, applying those Discord orbs and being able to sort of just, again, do damage at that range.
Oki on the Pharah here, interestingly enough, looking to get into the back line already, and they're going to get right on top of the Widowmaker. Larvin is not allowed to play the game. Neither is Gothdal. They do take down Pokey, but the damage is already done. You've lost both your DPS, and now you have to push back and reset for the time being.
Yeah, I mean, losing your tank that early, that is your only option, just to completely reset here. Meanwhile, this entire time, the payload is going to be moving forward. Now, this is going to be a bit of a pain point for T1, exactly because of that, but will able to at least trade it on the death.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you'll take that trade all day, every day. Keep that Widowmaker out of those sight lines, and keep it out of 4v4 at least. As the point is already taken here by Smelvin Industries.
Yeah, and again, that Widow would have been an amazing position here. So now, potentially pushing a little too far forward, but getting that pick on a Gothdal. I mean, Smelvin playing poke, but playing it incredibly fast-paced here.
Yeah, they're already taking so much space away from T4 Demons, right as Pokey has made that swap over to the Venture now. Slept up is Celix for the moment, and now looking to keep it going right into the ground. They go back to regroup. Seb has Transcendence here. Jacko with Nano Boost as well. Throw that on to really anyone you want. If you are Seb here, so they're still gonna look for the shot. Will goes down. There's the Transcendence coming out as Gothdal falls. Is trade still coming through now with the sights up for Larvin? You might be able to keep going forward as Pokey is going to take that pick and find Pac-Man now. Selix trying to stay alive, has to go into that Nemesis form, but is it going to be enough? They've got the healing in from Signal, but is it going to be enough? Yeah, you're going to get that extra support coming in, all the healing back, and now Will with the Nano Boost trying to stabilize, try to finish it off, and it looks like it's going to be the case as Larvin's falling. The triple orb coming through, and that should be that when you can take down Selix, as Seb is the one to get it done as Smelvin takes point number 2.
Yeah, and so now Smelvin, again, very fast-paced here, already pushing into point C, and T4 really have not come up with a solid answer here so far on the defense. They haven't had a chance to fully stabilize yet, however, so this could potentially be their chance of coming in with the Kitsune Rush, just to at least clear space and alleviate some of the pressure they're feeling from this poke composition, because realistically, anytime Selix is going in, it's going to be alone for the most part, and it's just sort of the Ramatra sort of taking a beating and losing all of that HP before even getting a chance to fight.
Oh my goodness, Selix is so low. Healing is there, thankfully, from Signal. We almost had lost that fight before it really even began, and now it's almost halfway through point number 3. Thankfully, the T4 Demons finally has some ultimates to use to get into this, but it's not looking too hot. They're not looking too good right now. Is already up on the high ground goes Pokey. They've got their Venture ultimate too, as the seismic shot can be used. Larvin on the side, going to take down Jacko though early on, so that's a lot of healing now gone, but still you haven't stopped them quite just yet, and they're almost to the end. You're going to have to reset here with Will falling as well as Big Nan. They are going to invest the Tectonic Shocks and find 2 picks. Seb and Pokey might be able to turn the tide of this for the moment and give a good chance for a regroup, but probably not. They're going to have to reset.
Yeah, finally needing the full reset here. And Smelvin, you know, incredibly close to the end, but T4 at least finally gets the stabilization, and they still have so many tools to work with in the bank here. This could be the start of a long defensive hold here, as Smelvin pretty much has nothing besides its Transcendence to work with and pushing on to the objective. Don't get me wrong, a Transcendence could be good for healing, but not really going to have a way to engage forward past some of these key ultimates that T4 has built up.
Yeah, as now they come into this, Pokey's already finds Selix early on, not going to be able to find the kills you were hoping for. Will does go down, but still, Larvin gets traded out as Pokey finds another one. 2 kills coming in, make it 3. Seb finding it for him, make it 4 kills, no team kill needed, and his round 1 is completed with almost 3 minutes on the board on the attack for Smelvin.
I mean, guess it really doesn't matter if you have a bank of ultimates built up for T4 if you don't decide to click Q on any of them. I mean, that's absolutely ridiculous. Having 4 ultimates in the bank like that and not utilizing any of them, I mean, only the overclock coming out in a desperation situation where you're already 1v5, I mean, it just doesn't make a lick of sense, right? You had all of these tools, especially the Annihilation, could have been used to keep Selix alive there in that situation, and just choosing not to, instead just dying to the Transcendence. I mean, it's just such a foolish decision. So now T4 have the work cut out for them, right? Not only having to finish the map, but then give themselves a decent enough time bank to go extra rounds here. Meanwhile, Smelvin, they're sitting pretty. They get to do exactly what they've been doing, which is just sit at a range, poke out the enemies, do the damage, and get these key pickoffs. You know, T4 in the spawn room currently hovering a bit of a dive comp with the Diva Tracer. Trying to maybe engage onto these targets and not let them sit at a range, but you only have so much defense matrix to close that gap, so definitely still going to be a struggle even on this comp.
Yeah, as now we go into this next round, and well, we do see another nice change, Pokey on to the Symmetra.
Yeah, and with the swap over to the Symmetra, you do give this poke composition a little bit of mobility, so potentially being able to get in and out of the dives, but also potentially could have just been a read to sort of hinder the Diva, right? Putting up those turrets and things like that, just going to slow the Diva's approach, and make it so the Tracer can't blink in as freely there, but sometimes you just blink into a wall anyway.
As now they come into here, Larvin already looking to get in the backline, but they're going to get pressured out. They've already got the Symmetra turrets online, so it is going to be hard to get into that backline for T4 Demons at the moment, but still they can definitely do it as they're looking for they're gonna goodness, nice double dink coming in there onto Larvin. Will has already kind of sealed the deal for this hold for the moment. I mean, obviously you can still push it. Select is going to and takes down Will. Big Nan very low as well, but I don't know who's going to come out on top. It looks like you're going to have to stabilize for right now if you're T4 Demons.
Yeah, stabilization for the time being an absolute necessity right now as T4. Again, having to try to push past the Symmetra is absolutely brutal on this corner here, but it seems like they're finally managing to break down the turrets and things like that. Gothdal deciding to catch a rock to the face just for fun here.
As now they come into this yet again. Gothdal finds Pokey early on, as now another pick comes in as Jacko looks to come through for their team, T4 Demons, with the Kitsune rush onto the point. So they're going to look to keep it falling. There's the Gravitic Flux out on the point, but is it going to be enough? You find Gothdal out after they take down Will. Larvin in the backline trying to get pressured out. Needs to get healed up before they can really do anything more. Transcendence comes in from Seb trying to stabilize. Into the backline they go, finding Jacko out, and now they're just not allowing the Ana to play the game, but is it going to be enough to keep things going their way with Larvin falling, Seb falling as well? As now it looks like Tier 4 Demon, well, maybe not with the Photon Barrier coming online, and you're going to just try to juke and jive around away from Celix, but I don't think they're going to be able to stay alive for much longer as Celix in the back line, just taking no prisoners. This should allow Tier 4 Demons to finally take hold of this, but they're just not getting the kills that they need quick enough. Celix still trying as they will. Finally, it looks like Tier 4 Demons are going to open up point one.
Yeah, they'll be able to get the point A cap here. And I mean, Smelvin's having a very odd approach here. We're pretty much, as long if the D.Va is not in range of, okay, interesting place for that D.Va bomb, sure. But if nobody's in range of Celix, like the Sim Barrier isn't, they're just kind of ignoring the D.Va. And that's not a healthy strategy, simply because your backline is so incredibly vulnerable, right? The Zen Ana, unless the Ana is hitting a consistent sleep dart, is realistically not going to be able to do much about a D.Va in their face, using Defense Matrix, the micro missiles to boot as well to secure these kills. So potentially more focus needs to come down onto Celix here for Smelvin.
Now they come in here as Photon Barrier comes in from Signal. That's going to be a lot of damage coming through onto Smelvin as Tier 4 Demons have taken a very quick fight and has taken a very quick second point.
Yeah, and considering how much they struggled on first point, it's absolutely something they needed here. So now T4 going to be pushing into point 3, and already you're seeing Celix playing up here, and they're going to be able to play even further up thanks to these early picks already coming through. I mean, look at this, Celix already playing on the back corner here, and Big Nan, you know, don't get me wrong, I respect the push up here, but the second you meet any kind of resistance, you're going to have to back up. You don't have a healer alive to keep you up right now. It seems like you just decided to sacrifice your life anyway, so now just a constant stagger coming through for the side of Smelvin Industries, and Celix is on one right now.
They are on one. That you ban the Zarya, and then Celix just goes to the D.Va to dominate yet again. This is looking better and better. They are not going to have the same time bank, though, it would seem, unless they aren't stopped. Because, I mean, it is getting close to the end here now. And you're forcing Big Nan over on to the D.Va here to at least keep Celix in check. But Big Nan's now back, and Signal is down. Backline might be felled here as Jacko finds Larvin Alvin. And that's finally going to be that. The self-destruct comes through, but looks like Tier 4 Demons have to reset.
Yeah, finally having to reset here for once, right? T4, though, I mean, once they re-engage into this, which might be a few more minutes now that Pack went down here, but again, they have the Kitsune rush to be the aggressors here, and Gothdal with yet another overclock here certainly can find the value, but with Big Nan on the D.Va mirror now, obviously that Defense Matrix is going to be a thorn in the side of either of these Sojourns when they choose to use that ultimate.
As now, you come in here, looking to get through this. There's an opening already signaled down. The nice drill coming in from Smelvin, and they're going to look to hold this yet again, and it looks like they're going to be able to do that. Self-destruct now comes on point. A lot of people are low on tier 4 demons, and Celix does reset, and that's going to be a hold yet again for Smelvin.
It's a hold for Smelvin, but again, T4, they actually commit in that fight. Both the Kitsune Rush and the Overclock amount to pretty much nothing here versus Smelvin. You know, obviously they commit those backline ultimates as well as the Diva Bomb here, but they still have tools to work with in the bank, right? Both DPS ultimates to boot here. So T4 certainly is starting to be sent reeling on this defense, as some teams can find themselves still with time in the bank, though. So they just sort of have to, again, find some of that magic from early in the round, get Select into the backline uninterrupted.
Now they come in, Big Nan's found Pac-Man yet again. You know, would like to have that self-destruct back in your back pocket, but now it's not going to really matter. Pokey is going to fall, though, and that's a big little opening here. You've got the Tectonic Shock to come back from spawn, though.
Tectonic Shock on the respawn here as well. He's going to be trying to find an opportunity as well here, but already Selix getting a massive pick on the Seb there.
Yeah, it is big, big, big. Jack goes back from spawn and Larvin is down, but you're going to get caught out yet again. Celix takes him out, but Will's still looking for some damage. Celix is still the damage supreme as they're going to finally get taken out. They're going to get forced that self-destruct, get back into mech, and now retry. 30 seconds to go. And it looks good here for Smelvin Industries.
It's looking good. They do have to contest with the orbital ray here, but if they can get this to an overtime situation where bodies have to be on the cart, there's no better time to rip that Tectonic Shock, right? Just being able to catch everybody who's stuck on the cart here, but the orbital ray will come out first.
Yeah, Ray is coming in, and it's going to help take down Will. Point is being pressured out, and now Big Nan is gone. Is there going to be even a touch from Smelvin here? You've got to get there to hold on. No, you cannot. And, well, it's going to be a overtime round for us on Circuit Royale.
Overtime rounds indeed here, but P4 Demons find themselves with such a deficit in the time bank. They're really going to need some sort of massive clutch potential here. Smelvin, you know, obviously definitely should be feeling good with the time bank, but they have to actually make sure they put a stop to T4. And they did struggle with that for quite a while. You know, Celix, again, getting into the backline for free a lot of the times, getting some of these pickoffs before fights, really had the chance to start here. It just shows how prolific a Diva can be in the right hands here. So Smelvin going to be starting out back on this Sigma comp, knowing that this is sort of what delayed and gave them such a good defensive hold in the first place. But again, I just sort of fear for the backline here. Seb and Jacko are certainly going to be feeling the pressure from this dive, and Poke or somebody just has to be there, heal for the backline and make sure they feel okay. But Seblex actually isn't opting for the Diva. We're going over to Orisa? Porqué? Why?
Who knows? Who knows? I don't know. You're the color caster. You should know these things.
Listen, I'm baffled, as it's literally like, hey, look, here's something that completely worked and was fine. Let's never do it again. But yeah, no, we're going to end up in a Sigma mirror instead here with T4 back on that Wu Yang Kiriko here, so they'll be able to do more damage, whereas Smelvin Industries backline on the break can just put out more healing. So it'll be interesting to see how the dynamics and what is more crucial in this minute time bank.
Yeah, I'm gonna see, right, this defense worked pretty well for him. Well, as I say that, Bogey gets their head taken off. Larvin does as well, though, so to anyone's point still, but you'd love that defense that the Symmetra does provide for this extended fight. And you're already Big Nan so low, the healing needs to come through. You need to find an opening, and you need to find one quick as Signal is felled out. Seb all alone, gonna have to reset, get back into the thick of it. Celix is very low, but hey, you've got the Symmetra back now for Smelvin, and you can just beam through the Sigma now on point. And I don't think there's gonna even be a touch any longer. You do get there in the end, but now you have to all bum rush the point, and I don't think it's going to work out well, and it does not indeed, as Smelvin with the team kill stop them at the corner and set themselves up for a good map number 3.
Yeah, I mean, this map is pretty much all but Smelvin's. It would take T4 giving a Herculean level defense to sort of stop this. Because again, it didn't even get around the corner fully. Not even into that second corner where at least you could try to make arguments for the hold here. You're pretty much going to see one fight and one fight only for the defense here, and they're going to have to give that fight their all here, because if they slip for even a second, Smelvin will approach like sharks in the water, ready to absolutely devastate them here. I will be interested to see what T4 chooses to roll out on. At least for the time being, it seems like it is going to be the Ramatra Maycat. This could potentially indicate a spawn hold of sorts and just not give Smelvin the space to even work with here. Or at the very least, they're going to try to hold on the first initial corner that you don't see a lot of teams hold on. Regardless, this is very much an all-in strategy, which you kind of have to do anyway because of where that golden box of victory is. So I see the vision here for T4, but it is such an incredible gamble.
It is indeed. It is indeed. And is it going to pay? I mean, obviously you have to try something. You have to try anything at this point. I mean, or you're going to go down. You're going to go down either way if you don't hold on. But Will could just really end this if they find a key pick. But it looks like they're going to be switching quickly off the Widowmaker.
Yeah, not wanting to deal with the Widow, I mean, absolutely makes sense here. Meanwhile, Poke in the back line here, trying to, you know, just see what can be found on the Echo here. And I think this scouting, revealing the composition as well, is sort of what made Will swap initially here, as we already have a trade.
Oh, but Celix is going to find another pick here. So, hey, you're still sitting pretty. Obviously, you need to win a lot more fights like that, though. And it's going to be really difficult. Still 3 minutes to go for Tier 4 Demons on this defense.
Yeah, still a lot to go here. And with Will being fell again here, it is just going to be Smelvin probably having to take a full reset here. And it seems like they're sort of, you know, pushing in a little too aggressively here. I think Smelvin needs to actually get the full reset. They can't just keep sitting and taking damage, feeding over ult charge. Because look at this, right? They already have a high noon. They're going to have a annihilation as well built up for T4. I mean, this is exactly what T4 needs and what Smelvin was hoping to avoid.
Yeah, as they're going to look to push into this early on. Maywall already out and burned. As now they come into the fight. Still waiting out. And there's an Anubis coming in. Annihilation right in response, but you're going to go right into the back line. But good defense, good peel for the rest of the squad. Trying to take down those backline heroes, but not going to at the moment. And now you're forced to reset. Now we're down to 2 minutes here.
Yeah, 2 minutes on the clock. Smelvin definitely starting to struggle here. At least they forced out some key ultimates, but guess what? You're pushing into some more. You have the defensive ult of the Sound Bearer, as well as this Kiriko's Kitsune Rush. So Smelvin Industries definitely starting to struggle against it here. They're going to have to find some kind of opening, and that's starting to look like it's going to rely on a pick.
Yeah, you desperately need a pick, but you've already got double support ultimates from Tier 4 Demons, and now you've lost Pokey as well. Oh my goodness, there's just no way, right? Surely not. We're not going to be seeing a fuller hold from Tier 4 Demons here, so we're down to 1:20.
I mean, these are the situations where teams can absolutely fumble it if they're not careful, and it seems like Smelvin is in a fumbling mood indeed here with just how sloppy they're playing, right? They're just sort of haphazardly walking out of spawn, looking to try to get kills with no real set game plan in mind here. So their time bank of almost 4 minutes has already dwindled down to a minute here. They're going to be pushing into a blizzard, another annihilation, another deadeye. I mean, T4 really has everything right now.
They really do. They really do indeed. But so does Smelvin in a second here. There's the overclock coming in, but the blizzard, nothing to stop them right now as they're still looking to hold. The transcendence comes in at the perfect time. Disruptor shot takes down signal. You don't have anything left for tier 4 demons, but is it going to be enough? Deadeye coming through, annihilation in. The tectonic shock takes down 2, and that might just be all you need. They save it till the end as Smelvin Industries take map number 3.
Let's call it what it is. Smelvin, that was far too close. You know it, I know it, every single person knows it. Watching that here, T4 absolutely puts on a monumental defense here. Unfortunately, when you have, I mean, you'll see it here actually even as the play of the game, the Venture being able to go in, especially with the boost from the tectonic shock. Though, I mean, honestly, the attempt to charge up the Deadeye even further on a Venture like that, like, I respect the attempt, but, like, you definitely could have just fired off, gotten the damage you could, and thrown a flashbang or something, or at least gotten out of the line of fire. So Smelvin Industries now find themselves on match point.
Yeah, definitely. And now, like I was saying, let's hybrid or push the option for T4 Demons. I definitely think we're going to be seeing a Zarya comp, or maybe. Or that Diva as well could be the thing we look at. The good thing for Smelvin is they can still ban the Diva if they want to. So that is something to keep in mind if you are a tier 4 demons, right? And it looks like we do already have the map. Where else would we go in EMEA than King's Row?
Yeah, we gotta head to the hometown for at least some of these people, I'm sure here. But yeah, I mean, King's Row, it's standard, it's tried and true, but now I'm interested to see what exactly is going to be. More than likely, T4 is going to try to run that Zarya composition now that Zarya is no longer banned out. And I want to see what Smelvin's sort of reaction is going to be now knowing that it's coming out. Are they going to try to play a more standard brawl with the Ramatra? Are they going to try to match Zarya head on? Because if we think back to Atlas, you know, Smelvin certainly was struggling to come up with an answer to the point where they were sort of scrambling and just swapping heroes at random to try to solve things out.
Yeah, as we're gonna see, right? I'm really interested to see the ban phase for both of these two teams, right? Because I assume tier 4 has the first ban, I believe. So, do they protect the tank role, or I mean, obviously you don't really need to protect the tank role because obviously Zarya was already banned last map, but they could still protect it just in case they wanted to run something other than the Zarya. So maybe we see something ridiculous like a Doomfist ban or a Roadhog ban coming in from them. Other than that, and then we'll see from Smelvin what they decide to ban as well.
Yeah, because obviously those bans can play a major factor into the matchup so far. So far, it's been, you know, a little bit haphazard with the bans. I think the only really impactful one we've seen so far was T4 banning out Baptiste on that last map, sort of forcing these more stable backlines that maybe wanted a BAP to be substituted with an Ana in situations and things like that here. So be interested to see if maybe now that we're deep into the series, these teams have a sense for how each other want to play, if these bans can be potentially a little more targeted, a little bit more in the face to cause problems here. But we will have to, again, it's sort of a wait and see situation here where both of these squads are trying to do what they can.
Wait a minute.
Wait a second.
They can't ban
No,
Lucio
no,
twice.
they can't. No.
They can't ban Lucio twice. They're so silly.
Potentially that's Smelvin's ban? Maybe it was just written backwards? Okay, it was just written backwards. Okay. But so T4 is going to be banning the Symmetra, which you know, indicates maybe they want to play some of the Diva or Zarya and they don't want to deal with that beam getting charged up, which means Smelvin is now going to take their turn on the Lucio ban.
Which
So,
I like as well, though,
Mhm.
to take away that like the capability of the Zarya too. I feel like you need to run Zarya with speed, and not having the speed forces you onto a Juno, and especially if you are less comfortable on the Juno, can make things a little bit easier for Smelvin.
yeah, and also at the same time, Smelvin quite literally has not played Lucio all series long, so it's completely valid to take this out of the pocket because, I mean, you think back to Atlas as well as the points on circuit where, you know, we saw T4 sort of starting to run away with things with that Diva speed and things like that. It was because they, you know, the Lucio was certainly there to help. The sound barrier could provide utility, and this full dive, you know, is something that can absolutely be a problem here. So now taking that out of the equation absolutely makes sense for Smelvin here, and I'm very interested to see just how King's Row is going to shape up. I'm definitely expecting T4 to run either Zarya or Diva. The question is, do you just try to plug a Juno into those compositions, or do you have to fundamentally change a lot more?
We'll find out here in a few short moments as we load into King's Row. Do Tier 4 Demons have will they be on Demon Time and take back this map? Or is Smelvin all done, dusted, and booking their ticket to losers round 3 here? As Tier 4 Demons already on with the Zarya. No speed boost, though, besides a Kitsune Rush, though.
Yeah, and the Kitsune Rush obviously being an impactful ultimate here. But we, again, have to sort of see, without the speed boost here, will Celex be able to get into position and cover the ground needed in order to be able to have the high charge in these situations. Smelvin on the attack, at least Poke starting on the Widow, trying to look and see what can be found out. Then probably just going to make a swap over. But Will's already on the Ashe, so I'm interested to see what sort of hit scan lineup, and it's just going to be back to the Bastion, it seems.
Yeah, Bastion being the choice for Demons, and I mean, sorry, for Smelvin. And then you like it. You got to get a lot of damage. Try to just burn through those Zarya bubbles as quickly as possible. It seems to be their choice, but you're gonna have to deal with a very high charge Zarya in the meanwhile. As right now they're going to already be forced out, forcing them back, as Will is going to take down Signal early on, but is it going to be enough as they're still trying to deal with it? Celtics is still just doing some great work, but it is still going to fall down to the Bastion. Still trades keep coming back and forth. Still, though, in control of the point is Smelvin Industries, getting that second capture point unlocked now. Larvin's falling, and it looks like it will be a quick capture for them in the end, as 5 minutes to go for Smelvin.
Yeah, I mean, Smelvin just being able to blitz their way through that point there, and T4 not really finding a response. And look at this, Smelvin's still fighting, pushing up with the Ant Matrix. I mean, you just don't see teams doing this. So now the initial choke point where teams love to be able to hold is not even an option, as T4 Demons is just being sent reeling, having to burn so many cooldowns just to be able to live.
He's now come into this next fight right as you back up. In the backline is Larvin at the moment. Is going to be pressured away, though, for the time being. Going to have to reset. Good looking for Tier 4 Demons. They've got everything online for this next engagement. It would be disastrous, though, if they did get caught out early on. There's the Flux coming in. Now you're going to get all caught up here. But oh, finally. Okay, Jacko does fall down. I thought that was going to be a huge waste of grab, but in the end, Tier 4 Demons are able to get back in control of things.
Yeah, finally being able to stabilize here after what was starting to look like a very large steamroll. Again, it feels like Larvin, while not necessarily coming up with the kills, definitely being a nuisance on this Tracer and demanding a lot of attention and respect. But we will have to sort of see, as Kothal is flanking right now.
now coming in as they've already taken down Seb early on. Gothal has got the sights online, and well, they are going to get traded back. Larvin is fouled out here now with the artillery configuration coming in. You might get caught out though, and you do indeed. Poke not going to be able to stay alive. Now we're down to 3 minutes 20 seconds on the board, and Smelvin don't really have anything to answer currently.
Yeah, and so now Smelvin, like you said, not having the best tools to be able to reciprocate here. I think the biggest thing is clearing out these high grounds and these flanks, which obviously is going to be time consuming, but you do have a little bit of time to work with right now, so I definitely think it's worth the investment because this Tracer and Sojourn have been a problem here, but instead they've just gone to card.
Already coming in, they've got the grab up, but it's all red in the kill feed here now. Will with 2 with the overclock. They only lose Jacko, and I think that should, or at least get them very close to point number 2 capture.
Yeah, I mean, this should get them over the line here, and it's just so unfortunate that there was no follow-up for that Graviton Surge there. You saw Larvin trying to follow it up, but just the Immortality Field made it humanly impossible here. So now Smelvin, with no tools to their name, have managed to cross into point C here. T4 Demons definitely have the upper hand in terms of the ult economy, but they have to be able to stabilize some of this positioning. You see how far back they're already playing when the cart hasn't even rolled this first corner yet. It shows that T4 is maybe a little bit hesitant, a little bit scared.
Now they come in. Kitsune Rush already being infested, but you can just kite away, and that's what we're seeing from Smelvin at the moment. But they do lose Poke, which is going to be a huge one in the end. But it's, right, you burn away that major ultimate in the Kitsune Rush, but now you've lost Jacko as well. That really kind of offsets it, right? You have the advantage, but not any longer.
Yeah, no longer that advantage here, that Kitsune Rush, you know, doing what it can here. Meanwhile, Smelvin now going to be coming in with... The biggest thing is just forcing out the bubbles from the Zarya here, and then getting off this Gravitic Flux, right? You're going to have large members of this team that you can find grouped up, even if it's onto a solo target, you know, unless there's a well-timed Zuzu or something to that effect. It's just going to be massive here for the Flux.
Flux comes in, everyone's already down though. Poke's fouled, now Jacko quickly afterwards as well. There's just no real answer for the Zarya of Selex yet again. Poke's making the swap back over to the Bastion as Will falls.
Yeah, and so now with Smelvin trying to go forward there, beautiful plan in theory here, but there's just too many tools and ways for T4 to be able to live that situation. And now T4 find themselves in an advantageous position. And another I was gonna say a Graviton Flux. That's a Graviton Surge. With a Tidal Blast to boot on top of it here, so Selex can be the follow-up by himself there if he chooses to jump into it.
Come on, Mega. I'm supposed to be the washed one here, not you. As Big Nan already super low, coming in on this is now already Will finding another one, but are you gonna stay alive here, Big Nan? You do. You stay alive, and Will finds another one. They do fall down, but that's not going to be. It doesn't look like it's going to be enough. No, maybe it is enough because well, it's not going to be enough because you've lost Poke now as well. Graviton Surge going to be invested here by Selex to try to finish it all off. Minute 15 on the board here, Mega, and things are not going the way of Smelvin.
I mean, they're not technically going the way of Smelvin, especially with how that last fight went, but it was a 3v3 situation with defenders obviously having the better respawns, and Selex still chooses to commit the grab here, right? So that's something you certainly could held for a future date here. Now having to worry about that now is going to send Smelvin in, and already with that pick as well here, it's going to be massive.
Come into this Gothal already down. Will takes down Larvin as well. I mean, goodness gracious, Will has been on a tear today for Smelvin. Are they going to be able to keep it going? As Pokey finds the kill, finally things definitely are going the way of Smelvin, all off the back of Will yet again, and it's down to 30 seconds, and they got the capture that you needed with the team kill coming in.
Yeah, I definitely think T4 were planning to play this with the Lucio, and without it, they can't. They're struggling to set the tempo, set the aggression that they want to here. Meanwhile, Smelvin is absolutely in the situations they want to be in here. T4 now finds themselves in the same exact situation on circuit, um, where they are having to complete the map just to keep themselves alive. But it's not just for a map win at this point, it's for the series, it's for their tournament lives. So T4 certainly going to be feeling the pressure now. They need to find some sort of strategy beyond just getting Selex in and hoping that a grab works out here.
Yeah, you gotta figure it out now. Is Big Nan bringing out the Reinhardt yet again? See if that's going to be enough to stave off this aggression from Selex on the Zarya. Will onto the Cassidy this time instead of the Sojourn as well. See if that's going to be a difference maker too.
Yeah, and so now you are seeing, you know, potentially some little adaptations here with Gothdog going to be on the Widow here, always trying to look for what. Oh, that you were standing still for way too long, Seb. I'm gonna be real. That got scary for a second here. But Smelvin going to be starting on the Rhine composition and Pokey on the Venture, doing a little bit of a lurk angle here. I'll be interested to see if you can actually catch anybody with this.
Yeah, they're gonna find Signal, and you might be able to find even more here. You're gonna charge up, might be able to find. Oh my God! You find Gothel, and you almost found Larvin too. What a start for Smelvin Industries.
Yeah, what a beautiful start for a defense here. For the attack, not so much, as now you are seeing Selex just try to build up some energy in the meantime here. But Selex cannot be staying in this fight for too long, and now has the respawn to actually be able to be aggressive and actually manage to force out the immortality field. So this could be a little go button for T4.
Yeah, Immo is back, but so is Pokey here, so they can definitely get this this fight going back into the favor of Smelvin at the moment. Up in the air too long for a moment for Jacko, but it didn't get caught out quite just yet. Still waiting it out, still looking for Amp Matrix available here for Jacko as well. So this is definitely a winnable fight for Smelvin to keep things going their way. As oh no, Jacko falls. Larvin gets into the backline with the Reaper shotguns, and now you can definitely see a world where, well, maybe not. Will's just clicking heads. They've already found two. They're gonna go down, but there's the Wu Yang ultimate online, gonna get grabbed out to stay off. Kitsune Rush coming in. Point is captured, up 1% by Tier 4 Demons, but you're still not totally in control. You're going to have to fully back out now, though, for Smelvin, but you definitely have the chance to retake this with Amp Matrix online, Shatter available as well. You're pushing back Selex, and you've got everything you need here for Smelvin to keep the hold going.
Yeah, and T4 only getting a tick out of that is brutal, considering how that started out so heavily in their favor here. And just off the back of an Amp Matrix, Smelvin being able to get back into things is not what you want to see, because now they have this plethora of ults built up here. Selex is going to be swapping over to the D.Va now, potentially trying to apply pressure to this backline as done previously here and just get past the Rhine, or at the very least scouting out the Venture, because they've decided that Pokey's just doing too much.
Now we go into this next fight here. Already looking for a play as Selex makes that swap over to the D.Va. Now comes in Signal using their ultimate here too, as Deadeye comes through, Shatter out as well, and they connect. 3 kills come in off the back of that ultimate, and now we're down to under 60 seconds to go here, Mega.
Yeah, down below that 60-second mark. T4 Demons definitely feeling the pressure now here. They do have an overclock to work with here, but it's going to be about getting past this choke, getting in here. Don't get me wrong, Selex is definitely able to get in on this D.Va, but not really anybody beyond that, right? It's not like the D.Va's helping the rest of the team get in. It's just the D.Va getting in alone here, and their backlines, they're unprotected.
Pokey trying to finish it off already with an opening, and you almost find Larvin there, but Tectonic Shock available for this engagement. You've got point pressured out by Celix for the moment. Larvin very low, gonna need to get healed up before they can get into the back line. They have the pulse bomb ready to go in a short few moments, but they're gonna get caught out. Gothal now has overclock available, but it's just not looking good. There's just nothing really to do any longer, and you don't even touch the point. Smelvin Industries take this series 3-1.
I mean, you just see 9. Like, obviously, the fight already wasn't going your way for T4, but Smelvin just being able to take that away with the C9 as well. I mean, this Smelvin squad, they're known for a reason. They've been around the block a time or two, and they've got the strategies, the adaptation, like we saw all series long, being able to change things up and things like that. It just absolutely showed here. Meanwhile, T4 absolutely gave it their valiant, most best effort, had signs of life, absolute brilliance there at points here, but I think ultimately their lack of flexibility and adaptability ultimately sort of came back to bite them in the end.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I mean, and goodness gracious, Will was just on a different level for Smelvin Industries throughout this series. It felt like every fight was finishing or starting with a 1 or 2 to 3 kills from Will each fight.
Yeah. And so, you know, having just the DPS player that can do that, right? That's what sort of can help you go from a good team to a great team, because ultimately it comes back off of that space that your tank makes and just allowing your DPS to thrive. But, you know, it's one thing to just make the space. It's another thing to actually be able to make it work for you and do any and everything here. So absolutely props goes out to Will as well as the entire Smelvin squad here, because they put on a clinic and now they get to stay alive.
Yeah, we're gonna head to a short little break here. I think something happened, but we're gonna head to a short little break to fix this and bring you an interview right after this. All right, everyone, we're back and here with our two interviewees, Big Nan and Will from Smelvin. First off, congratulations, gentlemen, on the victory.
Thank you.
All right, I want to start with you, Big Nan. How much do you think the Greg's buff helped you guys?
I actually had work earlier, and it was quite a busy day. I sold about 2,000 sausage rolls, so I think that was in the back of my mind while I was doing this. I was doing that for my boys. I was doing that for my boys in Greg's.
Perfect.
You know, sure. The Greg sausage roll here. You know, actually getting to talk to you both as well here. You know, Smelvin Industries, you know, while probably still relatively a young squad here, is kind of the unks of this CGL bracket. You know, you're the ones that have been around a while, the old heads. You know, do you guys feel like that sort of, you know, gives you the advantage, the wisdom that comes with being here for a while, or is it just sort of natural gameplay?
To be fair, I don't know. We all play very differently, so it's kind of weird that we like manage to win. Like we all play our own games, and I feel like that's how we shine individually more than as a team. I don't know if that's a good thing to say, but
Yeah, we all normally have a starting five every single, like a different starting five every week because everyone's schedules are so different. But like we managed to win most weeks at least, so that's good.
Now, I definitely think it had a lot to do with you today, Will.
Yeah.
You were, I was telling Mega, I felt like every fight that Smelvin won today, you were finding 2 or 3 kills. What goes through your head? How do you prepare for these games? Like, do you aim train? What's your insight into how you play so well?
No, not really. I just play a lot of ranked, I guess. I don't know. I've always been quite good at aiming in most games, so it just carries on.
Okay. I mean, hey, listen, you know, sometimes you hit the point and click heroes, you do the point and click thing, it makes your life a whole heck of a lot easier here.
Yeah.
But, you know, looking at just sort of how chill it is, like you said, sort of having different players rotate in and out each week here. Obviously, you guys are giving your all trying to win here. How far do you realistically see this squad going throughout the bracket?
To be honest, would be very happy with second because an old friend of ours, Golden Pants, we've known him since he was on console, and he's soared away onto PC. He's like one of the best tanks on PC now. He's one of the better tanks in ranked on PC, and his team is quite dangerous. We have a bit of I wouldn't say a rivalry, but we've had a bit of back and forth with Y Myro's team. I think they're called what's their team? Aura Farmers? Is that
Dream Eaters?
Dream Eaters, and I feel like that would be a fun game because I think that's the semi-final or the losers final, and I'm very excited to see how that goes.
Well, I'm
honestly.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry. Honestly, I think we could win it all if we don't really scrim as much as we wanted to because obviously different schedules and people. You know, Big Nan's got jobs now. You know, he's working. But
I've moved on from my streaming career.
Yeah. But honestly, I think we could win it all. Maybe we just got to put it together on the day.
Well, I'm definitely excited to see how you guys fare against Dream Eaters next round. Before we send you guys off, you can do your shout-outs. This is your 4.
Do you want to go first?
I've got none, really.
I've got a few. I've got Lemon Elk of Oblivion fame, Don't Ask Why of Sims fame. My 3 biggest inspirations on Overwatch are definitely Ben O'Slay's Cammy72 and Jot Dave. So I think I'll leave it at those 3. And Octotroph as well. Can't forget Octotroph. Shout out Octotroph.
Oh goodness. All right. Again, thank you for being here, and go celebrate your win.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you, guys.
Oh, that is Jot Dave. Of course. I mean, hey, that's a good insight to the team, right? I mean, just play better than just be more mechanically gifted than the rest of the team, and you win. It's good. That's a good strategy.
Yeah, I mean, hey, listen, sometimes you have, the strats and things like that to be able to put it together, just have fun and things like that. But, as it's just another day here at CGL, apparently. Sometimes it's just another day.
Yeah, as we can take a look at the schedule for today, as both games are done, and both games ended in a 3-1. Smelvin taking that over Tier 4 Demons, and over on CGL1, Brez Harek took the 3-1 over Goon Squad. And then there might be NA games today. Don't quote me on that, but join the Discord if you aren't already there. And check out the okay, so no NA games, but still join the Discord to stay up to date with tomorrow's nonsense, because we have 6 matches tomorrow, and I will be here yet again. They got the Unk coming back yet again for some more Overwatch later tomorrow. But other than that, Mega, do you have anything left to say?
CGL is great. We love CGL.
You know what? Fair enough. Thank you all for watching. It's been me, Joker's Ransom, her, Megalass, Toxic, and Thoramia. I don't think I said that right, but Thor on the production end. Thank you all for watching wherever you are in the world. Have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day.